The first generation Toyota CHR was one of the only hybrid small SUVs you could buy when it launched in 2019. But here in 2024, you're a bit spoiled for choice. There's hybrid versions of the Nissan Qashqai, the Hyundai Kona, the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, as well as Toyota's own stablemate, the Corolla Cross. So in 2024, the market looks very different. The new generation CHR still turns heads, but is it still worth it to buy over its competitors? Well, by the end of this video, you're going to find out. The big news here is that the 2024 CHR has dropped its turbo petrol option. That's right, this new car is a hybrid only. And as a result, prices have gone up by quite a bit actually. Starting with the base car, the GXL, pricing now kicks off at $42,990 before on-road costs, which is about $11,000 more expensive than the outgoing entry-level car. As for the mid-spec Cobra, it's also about $11,000 more expensive at $49,990. But for this top-spec GR Sport, pricing is up around $16,000 to $54,990, putting this car well and truly into hot hatch territory. Standard equipment includes 17-inch alloy wheels, sports seats, a 7-inch driver display, a 12.3-inch infotainment system, 6-speaker sound system, and a bevy of safety systems. Stepping up to the Cobra nets you 19-inch alloys, bi-LED headlights, heated front seats, suede interior highlights, a head-up display, 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, 9-speaker JBL sound system, a wireless smartphone charger, and a powered tailgate. As for the GR Sport, you get variant-specific badging, but there are also upgraded brakes, a heated steering wheel, GR floor mats and steering wheel, and aluminium scuff plates. Does that sound like an equipment list to justify a near enough $50,000 small SUV? Not to me. We're in a market now where you can get a full battery electric vehicle with a similar level of equipment for less. But Toyota is hoping to wow with a few other features, like the CHR's styling. Look, the CHR has always been one of the most stylish models in Toyota's arsenal, and this second generation car is no different. With a flat nose, slender headlights, and a low roofline, the CHR looks more like something you would drive in Cyberpunk 2077 rather than on Melbourne city streets in 2024. It also borrows heavily from the all-electric BZ4X with this running mascara look and two-tone theme. And to me, it looks much better on a svelte, city-focused SUV like this than a chubbier and higher-riding BZ4X EV. The flush-fitting door handles, a first for Toyota, are also a nice touch to help make this car look a lot more futuristic. But my favorite feature is the removal of the hidden rear door handles that were positioned high up here in the C-pillar. And it just means that opening the rear doors now, it's a little bit easier when you've got your hands full with groceries or kids. The rear end has also been tweaked with a body-wide tail light as well as a light-up CHR logo, but that chunky and chiseled aesthetic still remains, as does the roof-mounted rear spoiler for a sportier appearance. And of course, it wouldn't be an SUV without the requisite black plastic cladding adorned throughout. Do I love the design? There are bits of it that work for me and parts that don't, and looks can be such a subjective thing. I do like that it's a bit different and a lot out there though, and really challenges the Hyundai Kona and Nissan Qashqai for that stylish small SUV crown. This funky design does come at a cost though, and here it's practicality. Opening the rear boot reveals a cavity capable of swallowing 388 litres, and for those paying attention at home,
is just a bit more than the 318 litres on offer in the old car.
Look, you'll still get things like groceries and overnight bags in here, but for families that might use a pram, you might consider getting something a little bit bigger, like a Hyundai Kona or Nissan Qashqai. The top-spec GR Sport also has a smaller boot because it has a second electric motor driving the rear axle, dropping capacity down to just 362 litres. Fold the rear seats down and that space swells to 1,155 litres in the GXL and Cobra, and 1,134 litres in the GR Sport, making the trip to IKEA or Bunnings a possibility, but rear boot space is not this model's forte. At least the front seats of the CHR is a pleasant enough space to be in. Don't get me wrong, it's still a Toyota, so there is an abundance of hard-wearing, scratchy plastic. But I really like how cocooned the driver feels in here thanks to these swooping door cards that draw your attention forward. All the touch points are really nice in here as well, with leather on the steering wheel and shifter, and everything is just laid out in a really ergonomic way. I really appreciate physical buttons for the climate controls too, and there's a large widescreen infotainment system front and center. Diving into the functions of the infotainment touchscreen, you get built-in satellite navigation, digital radio, and wireless Apple CarPlay. But Android Auto users like myself still have to plug in a cable. Boo! Storage options, while being plentiful, aren't all that practical though. You've got door pockets that'll fit a large bottle. There's a shallow smartphone wireless charging tray that you can throw your phone or wallet onto. You get 2 cup holders and a little underarm storage cubby.
The GR Sport flagship also gets a smattering of racier bits in the cabin, including red accenting, a sports steering wheel, and aluminium scuff plates.
In the second row though, space is a bit lackluster at best. I'm sitting behind my driving position right now. My head actually hits the roof and I'm struggling to find enough leg room and shoulder room to be comfortable. I imagine that small children and even shorter adults could be comfortable back here, but it is a snug fit. It's just a little bit sparse back here. There's no fold down center armrest. There's only one backseat map pocket behind the passenger seat. There's no air vents, and only the mid and top spec grades get a single USB-C charging port. At least there's a cup holders and a shallow storage tray in the door cards though. As stated before, that 1.2 litre turbo petrol engine is gone, and instead the Cobra and GXL are now powered by a 1.8 litre petrol engine, which is paired to a single electric motor that drives the front wheels via a continuously variable transmission.
Drive is sent exclusively to the front wheels, and this beats the old hybrid system that made 90 kilowatts.
However, the spicier GR Sport is fitted with a 2 litre petrol engine and twin electric motors that ups the ante to 146 kilowatts, and also has all-wheel drive for added grip.
While neither engine is blisteringly quick, the GR Sport has noticeably more pep than the rest of the new CHR range. They are designed for efficiency though, and it's here where this car really shines.
Officially, the fuel economy figure in the GXL and Cobra is just 4 litres per 100 kilometres, making it more fuel efficient than the outgoing car. This top spec GR Sport though is a touch thirstier at 4.1 litres per 100 kilometres, but that's still a pretty respectable figure.
In my time driving all 3 variants at launch, I was seeing a circa 5 litre per 100 kilometre number, but it's hard to determine an accurate reading with driver and car changes scattered throughout the day. If you want to see a more accurate real-world fuel use figure, be sure to subscribe so you can check out the full review when this car comes through the Drive office.
Toyota has been making hybrids for over 20 years at this point, and the 2024 CHR doesn't deviate much from that formula. For those that don't know, Toyota's setup is called a series parallel hybrid, which means either the electric motor or the petrol engine can spin the driven wheels, with a computer on board determining which is best in any given situation. It makes for a comfortable stepping stone into the age of electrification because it means you can fill this car up at any petrol station like any petrol-powered car, but still reap the benefits of a more fuel-efficient system. In the base level GXL and this mid-spec Cobra, there's a 1.8 litre petrol engine and electric motor that drives the front wheels via a continuously variable transmission. And while the 103 kilowatts you get here is more than the old CHR's hybrid system, it definitely feels lackluster, especially when the speedo starts to climb. Plant the right foot, let the car climb out of the eco band and into power, and you're greeted by a lot of engine noise, but not a lot of thrust. Even when switching to the power driving mode, which sharpens up throttle response and makes the steering a bit heavier, performance just feels anemic. The aggressive and sporty styling is definitely cashing checks that this hybrid powertrain can't clear.
Stepping up to the GR Sport helps a lot in this regard thanks to a second electric motor and larger 2 litre petrol engine that outputs a beefier 146 kilowatts, but it's far from feeling fast.
Acceleration is much more in line with such a sleek looking model, but the performance to dollar ratio just doesn't quite add up, especially considering the fact that for this price, you can get a full-on hot hatch or even a full battery electric vehicle. Introduce the CHR into a corner and it can handle itself with grace and poise as well. Changing directions much more like a hatchback rather than a high-riding SUV. Steering is communicative, if a little artificial for my tastes, and grip is excellent. But then again, you're never really attacking corners with enough speed to overwhelm these tyres. But in my short time with the car, the CHR's forte isn't with dynamic driving. I actually had the most fun trying to hypermile this thing, or in other words, trying to drive it in the most efficient way possible. This means putting it in eco mode and being careful with my throttle inputs and steering to try to get that eco score ever higher. This has the side effect of making the car much more calm, quiet, and even comfortable, which is where I think this CHR shines the brightest. At the end of the day, you should only consider the 2024 Toyota CHR for one thing: if you love its styling. The middling performance, cramped interior, and small boot space don't help this car's case much either, even if Toyota's hybrid tech is still a winner and affords genuine savings at the Bowser. The biggest hurdle it has to overcome though is that price tag. For less money, you can get a small hybrid SUV from a rival, or even opt for Toyota's own Corolla Cross. And in a world with inflated costs and rising bills, more money in your back pocket is nothing but a good thing.